My name is Nic Nakis, and this is my coaching business, Smart, Fit, and Clean. That name encapsulates my philosophy of mental fitness, physical fitness, and spiritual fitness. So when I talk about fitness, I'm talking about the whole person, mind, body, and soul. A little bit more of my personal story. I was a very active youth. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest in the foothills of the North Cascades Mountains and did a lot of stuff outside. My parents were outdoors people. I mean, we used to live literally in a treehouse, and we did a lot of hiking and a lot of camping and a lot of cycling out on the roads growing up. And I was also involved in youth sports, and I was in the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts for many years. But as a teenager, I turned my back on a lot of that stuff, and I became really kind of a messed up delinquent kid. What I had on my mind was to ride skateboards with my friends, to sneak out in the middle of the night to the train yard, to write graffiti on freight cars, and get in a lot of trouble and fights at punk rock shows. And I, at some point, decided I wanted to join the United States Marine Corps. I spent all my time in those days training to join the Marines, doing a lot of physical fitness activities, a lot of running, a lot of pull-ups, a lot of sit-ups, taking apart guns, putting them back together, spending a lot of time at the recruiter's office. When I didn't go into the Marine Corps, however, life took a little bit different turn. I ended up falling in with a lot of the wrong crowd of people, and I got into a lot of destructive activities. And, through things like a lot of beer drinking and junk food eating, within 3 years after graduating high school, I gained 40 pounds. And I'm a little guy, so that's a lot. I graduated high school at 135, and just after my 21st birthday, I was 175. I didn't like the person in my ID card. My clothes didn't fit. And to make matters worse, my appendix burst, and I almost died. I was put on 12 weeks of bed rest. And during that recovery, I thought a lot about how I needed to get my life together. I became obsessed with diet and exercise. In those days, the internet was not a very good resource to learn about these things, and it was hard to find whatever information was out there. And I didn't have the money to hire a coach, to buy books, to even get a gym membership. So I was going to the library, I was working out in my bedroom or at the park. I would work out first thing in the morning and again at night before bed. And in the middle of the day, I spent a lot of time reading nutrition books and working on my food prep. Some of those diets that I experimented with at the time were a disaster. So I made my body my laboratory. And I tried things that made me even worse, sicker and fatter, like the USDA food pyramid diet, which I followed fastidiously, and it was a mess. But on the other hand, I learned some great dietary principles from the commonalities between the things that worked, like the Protein Power Life Plan, the Atkins diet, and the Mediterranean diet. Eventually, I got into CrossFit, and I found that with a combination of the paleo diet and the zone diet, I was able to make a complete transformation. And through that period, I also went to college, and I was maintaining really great fitness and health habits. Then, after graduating, I traveled around the world, and my horizons broadened, and I began to experiment with a lot of new things, different training modalities, doing things like acrobatics or martial arts that I hadn't done so much of before, but also spiritual practices like yoga and meditation and fasting. And, some of these things were great mind expanders and eye openers, but some of them didn't go too well together. For example, I was doing fasting and also yoga and also experimenting with some plant medicines, and I started to have seizures. And I had another major health crisis, and navigating that, kind of like looking at this fitness person that I'd become, but now I wasn't maintaining it. I was leading into more health crises from these kind of imbalances that come in. So I decided I just had to aggressively return to the gym. And pretty soon, I wanted to change my whole career and get into the gym. At the time, I was working in film and video production as a producer, making infomercials and corporate videos, and it just wasn't fulfilling for me. It was kind of a stressful and toxic industry in a lot of ways, and the fitness business was thriving. I had a lot of friends in that space, and it just looked like the place where I could be healthier and happier. So at the end of 2012, I started working in CrossFit gyms, and in early 2013, I moved to Thailand, where I worked at a place called Tiger Muay Thai and MMA in Phuket, and really just dove into being a group fitness instructor, a personal trainer, and a nutrition trainer. From there, I moved home to the Skagit Valley and began to work at a few different gyms, some kind of garage gym type places, as well as some great CrossFit gyms in Seattle that I would commute to. And I ended up being the personal training supervisor at a place called Riverside Health Club, where I also was the owner of record for the CrossFit affiliate. And there I managed a staff at its peak of 12 group instructors, personal trainers, nutrition trainers, and massage therapists. I went through a ton of certifications and training during this period, and I had a lot of coaches working underneath me, and I could look at all their certs and training materials whenever they went for new qualifications. I just learned a ton, and I grew a lot as a coach and as a person. And I started to notice some of the things that we were doing wrong in the fitness industry. Definitely some of the things I saw wrong in CrossFit led me to drop the CrossFit affiliate in 2018. And some of the things I saw in the gym and health club model, like building dependencies of people, wasn't what I wanted to be doing and be a part of. So in early 2019, I decided to leave to start my own business, Smart Fit and Clean, and to believe in my own vision. You can find more information and contact me at my website, www.smartfitandclean.com, at my Instagram, at smart_fit_clean. You can email Nic, Nic at nicnakis.com, nicnakis.com. You can call me on the phone, country code 1-360-672-4525. You can also find me using that number on WhatsApp. There are a lot of ways to contact me. So I hope you reach out, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.